This is all about what do you need to know if you're an ancient soul, activating your remembrance that you are an ancient soul. And I want to share from my own experience what helped me and what made me realize that I'm an ancient soul, and how things work in our reality, because there's a different way of how we function in reality when we feel ancient, when we feel that we came here so many times before. There's a different way compared with how most people function. There's more awareness, there's more intention, there's more wisdom, and then also more purpose. Depends how ancient we are, right? That is relative. Whether you lived 10 lives before this one or 1,000 lives, obviously there's a different layer of how ancient we are. But let's just say those of you that simply feel that you've been here before, those of you that feel that you're here for a greater reason, those of you that feel that you just know things, you are so intuitive, you are discerning faster than most people, those are signs already that you are an ancient soul. And there's specific things when it comes to this topic, like 4 things that I realized to be very clear and precise in showing that we are ancient souls. That we are not just here to perform, we are not just here to pretend, we are not here to make and earn a living. We are here for a specific reason. And I want to share those with you. Hi Wendy, nice to see you. Yes, we literally just started to dive into this topic. So I'm excited. Thank you for being here. And yeah, let's start with the first topic, with the first aspect of what does it mean, what do you need to know if you're an ancient soul. So the first thing that I learned, this is all of this is what I learned from my own journey, okay? So being through this journey of being human in this life, I remembered so many lifetimes from before. I processed many lifetimes. I worked actually with 7 incarnations from other lifetimes in this life alone, in karmic debts that I have from previous lifetimes. And I know people that did the same or similar. So we're not crazy. We are actually living multiple realities in one. So just doing this and seeing how people come to me for guidance naturally, without even searching, without even seeking. I'm not, how to call it, I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here because of a specific reason or reasons. And when I saw that, when I felt that, then I knew that I basically chose this experience. And then I saw lineages of incarnations, and that spanned throughout at least 12,000 years, and then beyond Earth as well, like star seeds and stuff like that, if you heard about those things. And I don't want to make it too woo-woo. I don't like woo-woo stuff. I like grounded stuff that makes sense and we can apply practical things. So I made this as practical and simple as possible. So the first thing to know that you're an ancient soul is that you are teaching through presence, not through lectures, not through concepts, right? Not through what I read or saw or learned in school and stuff like that. You're teaching through your own embodiment, through who you are, that already teaches and transmits consciousness from one person to the other, right? So when I work with my clients in one-on-one, they basically we are sharing consciousness, we are sharing information through our energetic fields. And this is how it works when you are aware, when you reach a level of self-mastery and awakening inside of your soul, inside of your body. Then information gets transferred differently and intentionally, and you can feel that, right? To be honest, I have my own mentors, and what I need from them is not to tell me what to do. Just witnessing these people, just getting time with these people. You know, when we buy a session with a mentor, personally, I buy because I want to experience that person's consciousness. I want them to focus their attention on me because I feel how powerful they are. I feel that they've been through things that I need to learn, right? So this is how it works. And they teach through presence, through being present with you, to being present with me. Through presence is how we teach, not through lectures. Of course we can give examples, of course we can share stories that taught us things and how it works and how, you know, we realize some things and conclude some things. We can share those. But we can only know if that's relevant if we are present and we really listen to that person's needs and wants in those moments, so that we can deliver the best present version of ourselves, the most whole, authentic version of ourselves and what they need in that situation. So we teach through presence. And to give another example, all these live sessions that I'm doing here on this platform and in these videos, I literally have some guidelines, but I'm going, you know, I have a structure, but I let the flow through that structure and let the creator guide me to what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, rather than I have a script and I have to touch on this and this and this and this. It's not that rigid, right? So this is an example of how I'm teaching through presence. I'm going through whatever is in that moment alive based on a specific topic. And this is when we teach things, right? But sometimes if you're mentoring, if you're coaching people, you know, people just want your energy, your time. And that alone already creates a dynamic between you and your client, for example, between you and the mentor, between you and the person that you're exchanging energy. It creates like a field where information is exchanged, and it requires pure presence for that to happen. The greatest gift you can give to someone, the greatest present you can give to someone is presence, right? The greatest present is presence. It's like interesting. That's how it works. There's nothing more valuable than you can give someone than your presence. So we know that as ancient souls, we know that because we understand that we've been through journeys, we've been through experiences that the world needs. So when someone calls our presence, it means that that alone is an act of service. So we don't need to teach something specifically in that moment. You just need to be present and see what actually is needed. Another thing that I saw many times on my own journey was that I was remembering rather than learning. And I know that so many of you maybe had the same. You know, someone just said here in the comments before that you feel like a deja vu. That's a remembrance, you know. When you feel deja vu, when you feel these indications, that's a remembrance. So it's not much about learning things, it's about remembering them, accessing different lifetimes and different layers in our soul, in our vessel, where we have probably had that experience before. So it's about remembering. when we speak about God, it's not so much about a realization, oh, here we go, God is here. It's more about a remembering that God was always there, that you are always whole, you are always complete. You just didn't see it that way because you have been taught to see it from a place of lack. We have been taught to see reality from a place of lack and survival and need. How can I get better? How can I get my soul partner? How can I get more money? All it's about, I don't have enough, I want more. Well, when you remember that you are whole, that you are the entire creation experiencing itself through this human body, that already exists, and therefore it has space to materialize into your reality. This is how the laws of attraction work as well. It's not so much about chasing something, it's about becoming aware that you are that experience, that you can have that experience in the very moment. And then you access that. And ancient souls do this way more naturally. Way more naturally. We are remembering, we don't need to learn as much. Of course, we're always growing. We're always mastering things. We're always remembering what we need to remember, but there's also new skills and new technology and new things that we're still learning. But the experience is more focused on remembering, especially when it comes to the soul journey. How many of you have been through, gurus or taught or learned through certain concepts? I personally I was focused on Kabbalah over the last year and a half. And Kabbalah is one of the most aligned teachings with my inner knowing and with my soul. And I have nothing to do with that lineage directly, or at least not in this lifetime, but it resonates. So everything that I learned through it was an actual remembrance, was hitting into something that I knew deep inside. So as an ancient soul, that's typically how we feel. It's almost like a remembrance. Everything is a remembrance. And that's because we came here before, we were here before. Chances are that many of us already wrote some scriptures and created some teachings in the past that we come across today and we're like, oh wow, this resonates so much. Maybe you created that, So it's very interesting how that actually works. I hope this makes sense for everyone. The third thing that I want to share about is that ancient souls have a mission and a contract that is quite precise. We didn't come here to explore too much. We didn't come here to necessarily discover new things, but rather to activate our mission, to activate our purpose and what we came here to create, and just do that, just give that to the world, share that with the world. So there's a deeper purpose to our lives than just I came here to explore and discover what life is all about. It's more intuitive and clear to a certain extent that we came here for a reason. And so ask yourself, what is that reason? What do you really want to give into this world? What are you here? What is unique to you and to your journey that the world has to, that the world can receive, right? Because your experience, your wisdom, your knowledge is a gift into this world. And you have to know that. If you don't know that, if you think, oh, I'm not worth it, I'm not valuable, what I have to share with the world is not, it doesn't matter, who cares, no one wants to know, then you're literally betraying yourself. You're betraying yourself, you're going back to survival, you're going back to playing small. And so if you really deeply feel, wow, there's a deeper calling for why I'm here for. I want to do something. I know that I came here to do something. Then explore that more into depth, because it might be a soul contract that you have with this world. And sometimes all the people you meet in your journey are activating that soul contract, your mission. And we don't even know. And we're like, oh, I feel like I know this person. It feels so familiar to be with this person. This is my soulmate. This is that. Yes, can be. But it can be also a massive activation, a massive lesson, a massive checkpoint, milestone on your journey that you need in order to activate something inside of you. This is how this reality is super dense, right? So everything that we put into our field of possibilities when we came here, anything that we already predestined, we forget, right? We forget, and then we bump into people, scenarios, situations where we activate our remembrance again. It's almost like we're going through an amnesia, So this is why people forget. This is why we forget who we are. We're going through an amnesia. But now you will be surprised that the newborn people, the newborn souls into this world are so much more aware, so much more conscious, so much more, someone that is 6 years old can already know what is the mission in the world. Right? And some of us, we are in our 40s and we still don't know. Right? So this is how evolved the newer generations are. And that is a good sign. That is a sign that our consciousness collectively evolves. Now, of course, there's also those who seem like they are lost, newer generations that seem that they are lost, and it is part of their journey to discover themselves. But I really met master souls into this world that they were so clearly knowing who they are already when they were 5-year-old and what they came here for. And you could feel that. You could feel that certainty. It's like, wow, oh my God. And we have to go through so many processes to remember, if we remember, right? So, yeah, ancient souls have a clearer mission, have a contract that they made with this world to serve the world. Because this world is it's almost like a portal of life. It's an intergalactic portal of life, of possibilities. It's a very interesting world of duality where everything is possible here, and we get to choose which direction we want to go. What is the world that we want to create? Do we want a world of separation and war and battle, which is still happening on the planet, unfortunately? Or do we want one of peace, love, harmony, creation, unity? And that can also have challenges, but it's so much beautiful. These challenges are so much beautiful. Imagine you're trying to figure out how to create clean waters on the planet rather than how to take someone's country, how to conquer more territory. It's, we play some games, we don't have to play them anymore. And so many of us came to shift from that old paradigm into the new paradigm, and there's a specific mission, a specific contract we have to do with the world to achieve that, and there's specific people on our journey that we meet to activate that, to activate parts in ourselves to fulfill our mission. Now, another aspect of being an ancient soul is that we love to create sovereign people, sovereign leaders, not followers. So this is a very, a fine line to realize. If your teacher, whoever your teacher is, could be me, could be someone else, if they don't point back to you as being the center of your power, and they point out to some teaching, some concept themselves, then that is not genuinely teaching you about you and your power. That is not an empowered leader that speaks of embodiment. That is someone that externalizes your power. And there's so much of that in the spiritual world, unfortunately. You know, now it's less and less, but you can see it everywhere. Like, there's so many people that claim to be in a certain way, and they create almost like this cult energy about, I have the truth, this is how the truth is. Well, the whole point of this is, you are the truth. Let me show you that you are the truth. Let me show you that you are the creator of your own reality. For me, this is the most important teaching. You know, as an ancient soul, as a leader, as an old soul here in this world, we are responsible to point out to people's power, to their inner source, to their inner sense of sovereignty, right? Because everyone is connected with source. Everyone is directly in touch with the source of all creation. And so this is what an ancient soul strives to achieve in reality. If that is not the truth, then there's another agenda, there's games involved there that serves them and their own plan, but not you. You know, I met many people that teach certain modules, certain methods and concepts, and it's all about that concept. It's not about the person finding their own truth, finding their own power. It's about the concept itself, following that concept. And this, you can see this also in some religions, right? They blindly teach about, you need to follow this and that leader to submit completely. While all of these masters, all of these ascended masters and leaders throughout time and prophets, they were all teaching one thing. You are the power, you are the creator, you are the leader of yourself. You are the God flows through you. Access that and live as such. That is what ancient souls want to teach. You know, there's so much deception there, and so we have to discern. So yeah, these are the things that I want to share. Now tune into yourself and see from all of this, from what you heard so far, do you feel like you are an ancient soul? And let me know in the comments if that's the case. I'm curious to connect with you on that. And now I just want to know where you are on your journey, what resonates, what you want to share about this, what feels alive after I shared this, what makes sense, what doesn't. If anything doesn't resonate, also share that, please. And just just have a free flow and exchange a little bit energy and yeah, see where you guys are at. Hello Ella, hello Dinah. Dinah says, already know I live many lives already. Beautiful. Also, she also says, that's amazing for myself and my girls. That's not the case, so maybe I'm not an ancient soul. But a teacher on here told me I had many lifetimes with my dad, so who knows? This topic is so fascinating. Yeah, so what, like, again, I said this before, and I want to emphasize on this. It's not so much about what the external says and what the astrology says, and you know, we can have birth charts that confirm certain things, yes, but tune into yourself and ask yourself this question: was I here before? Am I ancient? Am I wise? Am I a wise soul? And see what comes. Everyone has wisdom. Everyone is wise to a degree or another. Everyone has experience. But the reason why I want to tap deeper into this concept of ancient souls is because we are the forefront of where this world is going to go. We are the pioneers. The Mother Earth called us back, basically, to come here and step into our roles and stop pretending that we are less. Stop pretending that we are not yet there. Or, stop thinking that it's not our time, and simply pour our energy and life force into these systems, into these matrices that are pre-established here before we came already. And it literally utilizes and harnesses our power. So it's not about that. And this is the thing. If you see yourself in a system that harnesses you and harnesses your power, stop right there and ask yourself, what am I here to do? Am I here to just live life conforming with something? Do I enjoy this, first of all? Some people enjoy it. Some people want to be. There's no shame in that. Some people want to be, following. They can lead themselves. Some people need leadership, right? Like that. They like to give their authority, to other people, and that's okay. That's their contract. They need to learn. But the older your soul is, the more you want to, you want to be responsible for your energy, for your power, for your gifts. Because there's wisdom behind that. So, are we ready to live according to that wisdom, to access it? Without shame, without playing small, without pretending that we are less. And without thinking that is not our time, because it is our time. You imagine you came into a world where you'd always think, oh, I'm too advanced for this world. My energy is too much. My teachings no one will understand. There's no point of saying this. I'm too much or too less. Playing those fields, playing in those fields is always dangerous and not true, because if the creation chose you to be here, and if you chose to be here and accept this mission of being a human, there is a bigger reason you need to trust that. And it means that it is your time. No matter what it is, no matter what wisdom you want to share with the world, it is your time. Do you think those people that came before us, there's people that came before us so wise, sages and prophets, that were executed for what they shared, right? Because they were against the establishment. Do you think that they thought that it's not their time? They knew exactly that it's their time. They knew exactly that they had to share no matter what. And guess what? When you trust that, and when you share yourself with the world in that way, that's when the world changes. That's when the world truly starts changing. It's powerful. That's how powerful we are. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you want to dive deeper with me, you can join my community below, where we are mastering ourselves as creators, where we are keeping ourselves accountable and support each other on our journey. And if you want to dive even deeper and crystallize and launch your soul mission, being able to hold it in your nervous system, to hold prosperity, and to be visible with who you are and what you do in the world, also check below in the description. And all my programs and offerings are there. Feel free to connect with me as well if you feel the calling, and let me know where you are on your journey. Comment more if this resonates, and I'll see you next week. Much love.